Today we got a pretty crazy story, as you can probably tell by the title, so sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's call today's subscriber, let's call him Kyle. So this all happened because Kyle had a girlfriend, and I'm just going to call her Kyle's girlfriend because if I have too many names, I forget them, and then you guys are like, oh, Connor, you're forgetting the name. I know I'm forgetting the name, man. Anyways, though, yeah, so Kyle had a girlfriend, but the thing was that, like, Kyle's girlfriend's parents were really just not for her having a boyfriend or any type of relationship at all because, like, you know, she was a junior. It was college application season. They said once you're like into college or once you're at college, you can do literally whatever you want. But up until that point, like, we want you to pay attention 100% on school, as like putting 100% focus now will really be super important for like the rest of your life or whatever. If that's actually true, I mean, college is important, but like, I think you can probably manage a relationship as well, but I'm not the parent here. But anyways, right, all you need to know is that Kyle's girlfriend's parents were not for her having a relationship of any kind and any sorts. And for that reason, it made it really hard for Kyle and his girlfriend to have a relationship, but they still managed. Like, she went over to his house, and Kyle's mom kind of understood the situation, and she was pretty chill. So she was like, all right, I'm not going to say anything. I get what's up. Like, you're cool, right? And they've gone out to the mall together and they see each other at school. But Kyle's never been over to her house, and Kyle's mom is always at the house. So they really have never had privacy together, and that's something that they really wanted. So one day, Kyle gets a text from his girlfriend saying, hey, my parents are gone for the night. You should come over. And Kyle's like, oh, like, really? And yeah, she's like, yeah, you should definitely come over. So Kyle gets into his car because he has a car. And, he texts before he gets in the car. He's like, hey, can I park in your driveway? Or is that going to be a little weird? And she says, well, I don't want the neighbors to see. Is there any way you can park in the park that's like a 2-minute walk from my house? And he's like, yep, 100% sure. Turns out that little detail saved him, but you'll see that in a second. So anyways, Kyle gets in his car, drives over to the park that is 2 minutes away from his girlfriend's house, parks in one of the parking spots, and, heads over. And there's no, like, for some reason, there was no, like, you can't park here overnight signs or whatever in the park, which is normally a thing I'd expect. Like, I know it's true for all the parks that I know of, but whatever, right? So he was planning to park there overnight and stay at his girlfriend's overnight. So he gets to his girlfriend's, and it's pretty cool because this is like the first time ever they really had some privacy. So, they're watching Netflix, they're talking, they had some dinner, like they ordered some Mexican food. You love to see it. Got some good enchiladas. Love to see it, man. But anyways, they're just chilling, enjoying themselves. And they just decide that, they both didn't smell good, so they were both going to take a shower. 100%. That is 100% their reasoning and logic. Do not question it. Do not question me. Don't think of anything else. They just both happen to be in the shower at the same time. Total accident. Total coincidence. Don't even question it, okay? So yeah, that happens to be the case. The problem is, because the shower was going, it was kind of loud because, like, when the shower goes, like, okay, I'm assuming you guys have taken a shower before, but you guys play Minecraft, so I don't know. I'm kidding. I play Minecraft too. But anyways, the shower, like, all the water's going, so it's kind of loud. And for that reason, they weren't able to hear a car pull up into the driveway, a car door open, and the front door open. What I'm trying to say is that Kyle's girlfriend's parents came home early. And it wasn't apparent to Kyle or his girlfriend because they were both in the shower and it was loud. The shower was loud, so they couldn't hear it. And Kyle's girlfriend's dad was, waiting. He kind of got back, was sweaty for some reason, changed into like, a towel in his room, and was literally, or like a robe, and was literally waiting outside of the door of the bathroom. Because he kind of just expected his daughter to walk out, and then he would just walk in. That was like nothing. He was kind of just what he expected. The thing is, though, Kyle and his girlfriend did not realize, like, that the dad was out there. And the thing is, so they turned off the shower. They're drying off a little bit. They both get into their robes, and they start talking. And this is when, Kyle's girlfriend nor Kyle saw this, but we can only assume that Kyle's girlfriend's dad is like, why is there talking in there? So he's very intrigued at this point. He's like, what's going on? But he doesn't say anything. I don't know why. I think he just wants to, like, catch them or something. So sure enough, Kyle opens the door. And remember, Kyle has no idea that anyone was back. In fact, his girlfriend is convinced that her parents won't be back for like another 12 to 16 hours. And when Kyle told, because Kyle submitted this on Instagram, link in the description. Go follow me there, even if you're not going to submit stories. I like followers. But anyways, right, Kyle told me that was probably one of the scariest moments of his life. Or at least his heart rate went from I don't know, a resting 70 to a 300 beats per minute type, this fluttering or whatever. Because Kyle opened the door and was face to face with one of the angriest looking dads he has ever seen. And immediately, the dad just starts screaming. Real quick, comment shower if you want to heart in your comment. That will be the secret word of the day. And if you want to support the channel even more, just go binge watch more videos after this one, or at some point sit down and watch a bunch of videos. And please comment down below when you do that so I can leave a heart and maybe reply to your comment saying thank you. And also, I can't heart every comment, but I tend to heart almost all the comments within the first hour. So make sure your notifications are on. And with that, let's get back to the story because it's about to get pretty juicy. So anyways, Kyle has opened the bathroom door, smiling mid-conversation with his girlfriend. And his face just drops because he is met with the angriest looking dad of all time. And immediately, the dad starts screaming. And at first, the screaming is at Kyle's girlfriend. Who is this guy? You know how we feel about you having a boyfriend. And even at that, you had him over when we weren't here and you didn't tell us. And you guys were both in the shower. I'm so upset right now. There's so many things I'm angry about. And at this point, Kyle is just, first of all, for the first 10 seconds or so, he's straight up shocked. And then afterwards, after the shock is kind of worn off, he's like, okay, this situation is getting bad because the girlfriend's dad is looking really angry, and he's a pretty big guy, and Kyle would lose in a fight if it ever got to that point, and Kyle's not about to risk that. Thankfully, they're on the first floor, and that's important a little bit later. And Kyle's thinking to himself, okay, I'm currently in a bathrobe, my clothes are in my girlfriend's room, and my keys to my car are in my girlfriend's room, and so is my phone. I am completely helpless right now. So at this moment, the girlfriend's dad is still yelling at the girlfriend. So Kyle takes this opportunity to kind of start to walk towards the door. And the girlfriend's dad turns and says, "Where do you think you're going? You're gonna get a piece of me." And the girlfriend's dad starts to lunge towards Kyle. And at this point, Kyle is close enough because he's in the girlfriend's room at this point. Quickly slams the door shut, and it does lock from the inside. I know a lot of people, they don't have doors that lock for their kids or whatever. But this house did. He locks it, and he hears bum, 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 bum on the door. Open up. I'm not done talking to you. Bum, 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 bum. Quickly, Kyle throws off his robe. He gets on his clothes. He puts his phone in his pocket. He gets his keys. He has everything. And he's like, "How do I get out of here?" The door is he's like, the only exit is through that door. And then he remembers that, there are multiple exits to a room besides the door. And then he remembers we're on the first floor. So he quickly turns around and he finds the window and he gets up to the window and he opens it up and he just he basically jumps out of there. He lunges out of there and he rolls onto the ground and he starts sprinting. He just starts sprinting and he keeps hearing bum, 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 open it up, bum, 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 open up. It starts to get fainter and fainter as he goes farther away. But at least he knows that the dad still thinks that he's in the room. So sure enough, he runs out of there, runs to the park, gets the keys in the cars, and just starts driving home. He's about 20 minutes away by car. So about 10 minutes in, he just pulls over to the side of the road, and he texts his girlfriend. He said, "Hey, text me back when you're there or whatever." And he doesn't get a text back, so he then eventually drives the other 10 minutes back home, and he's just sitting in bed, and or he's not sitting in bed, but he gets there, he gets back home, and he just sits on the table. His mom walks by. And she's like, "Wow, you're back already?" Because it was 10:30 at night. And then she's like, "Damn, Kyle, looks like you saw a ghost." Because Kyle is completely sweating. All the blood is out of his face. He's still kind of freaking out a little bit. So Kyle explains the situation, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's insane." She's almost eating a little bit of popcorn while listening to this. She's like, "Wow, tell me more. Wow, that's fascinating. My life is not interesting enough. Please tell me more." Eventually, the girlfriend texts back and says, "Hey, it's been a day." So Kyle's went to bed, he gets up the next day and he wakes up to a text. The text is from 4:30 in the morning. So Most likely the girlfriend's been up all night and the parents are just like berating her and probably like, oh, all this kind of stuff. So she's like, hey, I just got my phone. I'm probably not going to have access to it for a while. Like, I just want to let you know I'm so sorry for what happened. And just like, we'll talk about this more when we get back to school. And so sure enough, they meet up the next day and she's apologizing and Kyle's like, no, you're totally fine. Like, sorry for locking your door. And she's like, no, that's a great idea. My dad gets really angry and I don't know if he would have gotten physical or not. So that was pretty smart. And these two, Kyle and his girlfriend, end up breaking up within like a month or so. It was like they were good for each other and they didn't, they weren't like, I don't know, they weren't like necessarily breaking up on bad terms. It just wasn't going to work, especially with Kyle's girlfriend's parents. And they just kind of mutually agreed, nah, probably not. I'm not trying to do that. Kyle's like, I'm not trying to do that again, man. You're cool, but I don't think this is going to work.